Okay, we're fired up again today. Earlier we flew back to Indy to see the 500 in the pretend Gulf Stream, and today is a replay of going back to Penske and the Camaro. I talked about Donahue, who was not a close friend, but I knew him fairly well. And then we got together a few times here on the West Coast, which I'll tell you. It's about this flight and then one other flight we made, and we're gonna go. I'm recording. I double checked that. Check that off, and so instead of using a Piper 180 Cherokee, which I landed at this place that we're going to go to twice, and once with Mark. We flew him up from Monterey. He'd won the race, and actually Ed Leslie was driving the backup Camaro, came in second, I believe, and he picked up the winnings on a Monday morning after the Sunday race. And Penske had leased the track at back then it was called Sears Point, up off of San Pablo Bay near Napa, and it's now called Sonoma Raceway. So that's where we're heading, and here we go. Nope, we're not going in that. We're going to go in the F-15. There it is.
San Jose Tower 527 BC Tree 901 at runway 30 right, ready for departure, north departure.
527 BC Tree 901 wind calm, north departure approved.
North
Cleared
departure
for takeoff, runway 30 right.
is straight up the bay. And here we go. I think the brakes, get the brakes off. See if it moves. Yeah, it's moving. So here we go. Heading for Sonoma Raceway. Off and running. Gear up. Flaps up.
527 BC Tree 901 continue for north departure. 527 BC Tree 901 leaving my airspace, frequency change approved.
And back where we took off from, the last buildings on the left of the runway there is where Piper Aircraft was. And we were in, but we actually, with Mark, we took off, there we go, through the sound barrier. We took off from Monterey. So the flight probably took close to an hour.
Please acknowledge.
We're going over the salt flats again. I get to talking too much. Frequency
San Jose
change.
Tower 527 BC Tree 901 frequency change.
And here we go. Change the sun so it's not in our eyes or reflecting. Here we go. Heading up the bay. This is probably the Dumbarton Bridge right there. And down in here is Palo Alto. We just went by. We'll look right along in here. San Jose's back there, but Moffett Field. We went by Moffett Field, and then Palo Alto's in there. There's the San Mateo Bridge. I picked up my buddy who knew Mark and Roger better than I did, and I think he went to school with him. And he was from had his offices in Redwood City, and I picked him up at San Carlos Airport for a second trip. There's Mount Diablo. There's looking over toward the Delta. There's Sacramento River coming down Carquinez Straits and San Pablo Bay, and we've gotten far enough. We're coming up on Richmond. So we can glide in from here. We'll have to use a little power. So with Mark, the reason Mark was flying up to Sears Point back then, which is now the Sonoma Raceway, they were going from Monterey up to Kent, Washington. They were racing about every 2 weeks back then with the Camaro. This is back in late 60s, 1967, 1968, in there, and they had leased the track so they could practice on their way up to Washington, towing the cars up there. They could run the cars on the track by themselves to check out and see how they wanted to set the car up for the race that was going to be at Sears Point a month away. So here we're flying over Richmond, and again, the reason we're using this airplane is it's much faster. This would take probably 30 to 40 minutes in a Cherokee. We're looking at Mount Tamalpais. Richmond is right over there. The Richmond-San Rafael Bridge goes right across there. Of course, this is Richmond back here. And the Carquinez Straits right here. Highway 80 goes right across there. And then we have to start finding Sears Point. I think it's right in there. I did have a course here, but the course, it's not like going into an airport. What do we got? We got 300 miles an hour. Don't even have to get the air brake out this time. And we'll get over here to get lined up. And back then we landed. We could have landed at a little airport in Sonoma here or over at Napa, but I said to Mark, I said, why don't, if you're the only one there at the racetrack, we could land on the. We made a low pass over the track, and saw that they had the drag strip there. You get the gear down and the flaps down. We'll take a look, make sure we got them down. Yep. And the flaps down. They still don't want to go down. We'll get that up, and that'll slow us down. Now the flaps are down. Get this baby down to 150. I think I'm pretty well lined up. Yeah, there's the drag strip right there. And of course, there'd be people probably camping out here and all kinds of stuff getting ready. They had qualifying today, and Penske's guys qualified 1 and 3. Joey Logano, number 22, is qualified in the pole position for tomorrow's race. And these are NASCAR. That's a Ford. And number 12, Ryan Blaney, is qualified number 3. So I saw that and thought, well, it's a good reason to get to these places. We aren't coming in a Gulf Stream. We'd probably land at San Francisco with the Gulf Stream. Lots of squeaking and squirreling. Get the brakes on here. So we are on part of the race. The racetrack, I believe, would come right across here. So we'll just run back down to the start-finish line. Make haste. It probably goes around the red logo for O'Reilly. I ran over that earlier, but we'll just cut the corner here. Got to get it slow enough to turn sharp. See how fast we can roll down here. And of course, this is all paved. you don't have the dust flying around like this. And when we get down near the start-finish line, you'll see that, and this is in the interest of time, that I'm cutting the corners. I guess I can put the flaps up. I could have gone straight there. So I'm just gonna cut. Yeah, this could go this way. Yeah, this might be the way the track sets up. When I was practicing earlier, I used the left route there. Come on, baby, turn. And these buildings aren't here. This is about where I parked the Cherokee. Right here, there was a tower off to the left. I think observation tower, and then the goes around a hairpin down there on the other side of the bushes, and I'll just cut across here, which goes back to the start finish. And those buildings aren't there on the left, but they do have the pits. The pits run along there, and the pits kind of come up here and go around the corner. And I'm not going to run up the hill and around the racetrack. We'll just stop here on the start-finish line. And this would be all pits on the left. There'd be a pit wall here, so you can see here that they have the checkerboard for this being the start-finish line. And we'll take a quick look around at the start-finish here, and they roar up the hill right there. They go on up to the top there and wind around and back around and up around the top of the drag strip. Run a little bit on the drag strip on the run out up above there. And yes, the drag strip does go up the hill. It comes back down. And again, I recall parking. There was a tower over in here, and we parked by the tower. And I don't believe any of these buildings are here even today. I don't know when they would have been there. So let's get inside here and shut this baby down. We probably could take off out of here on the drag strip going downhill, but that's silly. We wouldn't be. I'm just showing off to show. And if I was the rich guy, if I was a rich man, we would have flown a jet or a light twin. I'd probably have a smaller jet than a Gulfstream to run short trips like this, where I'd fly into Napa, which is over in that direction, right there, somewhere over in there is Napa, good sized field, and we'd get a cab or rent a car to come over and watch the races. We'd probably stay up at somewhere in the Napa Valley, have a nice dinner over there. I don't drink anymore, but we'd have a couple of nice bottles of wine and spend more money than I have. Because if you're a jet setter, that's what you do. Okay, back inside, and we can pop the canopy open so we can see if you can see Mark in there. Let's look outside. Back outside. We'll get down here. There's Mark up in the back seat there, or my friend from down the peninsula. No, I never flew a jet actually. Not even a prop jet. All recips. I did fly a glider. I've soloed a glider down in Fremont. I mentioned that in the last trip. So this is what the rich do. They run around to figure out events to go to and take their friends and family and just have a good time. Got to spend the money. So hope you enjoyed the trip and the little stories, which are mostly true. It's just flying this airplane is not true. This is fiction, but it's fun. Thanks for flying along. Bye-bye.